72 years ago, my grandmother was born in Florida to a very conservative family, and by the time she became a teenager, she met a boy who she fell in love with. And sooner or later, she got pregnant. And, back then, if you got pregnant before you were married out of wedlock, it was a really big no-no, especially since she was involved with her family, which was very respected, very well respected, and that was not just not a good thing. So what her family decided to do was they were going to send her to California to have the baby, but they were going to tell all of their family friends that it was going to be for school. But she ended up having my father. Now, many young people are forced to make these decisions of giving away their children by just them not being able to take care of it themselves, or their family making the decision for them too. So my grandmother had to experience a closed adoption, and to this day, she still talks about the regret and the pain that she had to go through because she was not able to be a part of my father's life. Now, with open adoptions now though, parents don't have to experience that kind of traumatic pain or regret. Because adoption does not have to mean the end of the relationship between the parents or the child. Honestly, if you go through an open adoption, it could be better because the parents get to still be involved with the child's life as they grow up, even if they can't support it. So many people think adoption is bringing families closer together, but according to the Atlantic magazine, women find it emotionally painful. And when my grandmother gave birth, open adoption was not common at the time. So when she gave birth to my father, the doctors came in, they took the baby, they didn't even let her hold it, they just took it out of the room and that was it. My grandmother didn't see my father for 21 years. So when my dad was adopted, he was adopted by the people who I call now Gran and Daddy Joe. He was moved from California all the way to Texas, and he grew up here. And when he turned 21, my grandmother from California sent him a letter contacting him and telling him everything about who she was and why she wanted to contact him, saying that if he doesn't want anything to do with her, that would be okay, but she just needed to get this off of her chest because she could not deal with the pain of just letting her kid go and never trying to contact him at all. So my father thought about it for about a couple of weeks, and he finally decided that he wanted to know his real mom. And I'm really glad he did because we've been really close with her and her new husband ever since. I just want to talk about my grandmother's turmoil and the internal struggle and her pain that she had to deal with because, still to this day she talks about the pain and the regret that she had to deal with when she gave my father away, and she couldn't live with it anymore that she even adopted a little girl to try to deal with that pain, and she tried to raise it through open adoption. So it can work. So like the American adoption site states, many people choose adoption when they can't have a child on their own, and that is what my dad's adopted parents did. They couldn't conceive a child, so they adopted my father and they brought him here, which I'm glad they did because I don't want to be anywhere else. So my grandmother to this day still thinks, what if she put my dad through open adoption instead of just being away from him for almost like over 2 decades. So she always thinks about the time that she could have spent with him growing up instead of just being away from him and just meeting a completely different person after 2 decades of not seeing him. So like the American Pregnancy Association states, like open adoption benefits both parties about the birth mother, or like the father and the child, and it has to be cooperated between both parties of the now guardians of the kid and the actual birth parents of the kid. But it can benefit both parties, and it can benefit the child even more of just knowing that they have those four big parental symbols in their lives. So yeah. In conclusion, I discussed with you the journey of adoption and the effects they can have on everyone involved. So thank you.